have you here on the YouTube channel today because we are doing something super new, super special, and we're actually kicking off a student highlight series, and I am so excited, but I have to give a little background and context before we dive in to our first interview, who I am so excited to introduce and share with you. But what I want you all to really understand and know is that over 2 years ago now, we set out to rebuild and recreate what it looks like to have a thriving creative business. I took all the things that my ideal customer and everyone here in the community wanted to know, which is how do I sell my creations? How do I sell my designs? And how do I get paid for it as a creative? And through that process, we were able to build Passive Earner Society. And I had no idea what would happen when it comes to the ripple effect of people super close to me, to my students, to all the transformations. And that is why I am so excited to bring this amazing series to you. And when I started planning this series, I had to bring someone very close to the Makers Gonna Learn team who works on creation, who works on production, who has actually been on the YouTube channel before. So after this interview, I'm definitely going to encourage you to check out her past interview where it talked about her last iteration of her Etsy shop. So that's a little cliffhanger. We'll get into it. I am super excited. And I am thrilled to introduce Sadie Lewis. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
So fun. Sadie works at Makers Gonna Learn and had been on the team for 3 or 4 years.
3 years.
3 years.
The quickest 3 years of my life.
We stay
Been
busy.
a great 3 years.
It's so fun. And Sadie actually has been producing and helping us create the content, test, and just really see all of this curriculum that we built come to fruition. And I will never forget kind of like that May boat day where we were dreaming and we were thinking about like what this passive earner movement would be. And I think we were so like excited for it and coming up to the 1 year of like really bringing it together has been crazy. It's been life altering for myself, you, everyone on the team. So to see what has transpired for your own transformation. Sadie's about to get married. Sadie just bought a house. And I just love to see like what the Lord's doing in, you know, your life and just like how everything is coming together for the glory is always so fun for me. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so excited. This is going to be so good, guys.
Okay.
I'm excited.
So we had been working on this and, you know, like diving in for quite a while, but May was that time where we were like, okay, like we're really starting, like we're really digging into creation and filming and, you know, being a part of all of that. So what I want to ask, you know, before we get into your pivot and all of it, back then, like almost a year ago, like what was your thought? Like when us as a company were moving in that direction, like what was your like
into selling
their things like in a more passive way? Like what was your first thought?
Well, first off, I have always been very entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
So I feel like, who doesn't want to make extra money? Like, who doesn't want to do that? So when you guys were really diving into it and I'm recording it all, so I'm able to really take it all in.
Yeah.
It was just very inspiring because I know you as a business owner, I want to take in every bit of information I can. So I don't know. I was just extremely inspired and excited to start making some extra money.
I love it. I love it. One thing that I think is so important is that, you know, you really, I think for some members here and friends of the show, they are like, Tanner, like you teach people how to craft. Why would you take on such a responsibility to be able to sell and, you know, really do that? And what I've found is that when you can get paid for your creations and you can get paid to design and create, you get to do it a lot more. And, you know, if there's instead
and it's
of
fun.
It's so fun.
So fun.
And it's so rewarding to see money coming in rather than continually going out, which I think is so phenomenal. So for people that don't know you or your story, we had you on the YouTube channel probably what was it, like 2 years ago?
Yeah, whenever we had our little podcast.
Ooh, R.I.P. the podcast.
Rest in
R.I.P. This new
peace.
series is like the best you're going to get.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be so good.
I'm not committing to anything. I'm doing it when we want to and we have something to share, which is so fun. So you came on and you had really kind of, I think through Maker University, kind of got exposed to embroidery, right?
Yes. Yeah. So I started my own embroidery business. It was all hand embroidery, which is obviously a lot of work, very time consuming.
Yeah.
But I loved it. It was something I really enjoyed, at least in the beginning, because it was like a hobby.
Yes.
So yeah, I started with just regular hoops, just embroidering like little decorative items. And then I found a niche in embroidered Converse,
Popped off.
which popped off. Like I got an order for $1,000 with just some shoes. And I loved it. It was genuinely so much fun. But I obviously have a full-time job. And I would go home and I would literally work
Just all day. Not.
from the time I got home
Yeah.
to way after my bedtime. And it was just a lot. And I was like, I mentally cannot do this anymore. Like the burnout was real.
Yeah. I
Real,
remember
real.
having a conversation with you towards more of the later part, right? On the other side. What people don't talk about is
Yeah.
when you have success, you really, you don't, a lot of it's not talked about is like the burnout, like
It's
really
real.
questioning, like,
Yeah.
wait, everything, like this is working out better than I ever thought or imagined.
Yeah. And I was not expecting it
Right.
at all.
So it's like so weird that you're like, oh, this is actually better than I expected. And I think your story of this scenario is so many people out there. So
Yeah.
many people that want to be creative, that want to make money from their creations. And then they realize that they're actually, in other terms, what comes to mind first is a sweatshop. Like you feel like you are a personal
Literally.
sweatshop.
Yeah.
And what happens is, I even think you experienced it, is like you got that large order. Well, you can't take on any other orders because you're committed to that order.
I had to put my shop on vacation.
That's exactly what I was going to
mode.
say. There's so many
So-
people. And that is it's the story I hear day in, day in and day out of feast and then famine. There's nothing happening. And then
Yep.
something pops off and you have to stop marketing.
Yeah.
And as a business owner, we have to have a business that we can market 24/7.
Yeah.
We believe that you should be paid every single day. And that's why as we started like really investigating what my past clients had been doing and like what their hurdles were, this was the number one reason that I would have been open and considered print on demand. Because my students had been asking me for years to teach print on demand. And it just seemed like, I don't want to say a scam or sketchy, but
it does sound sketchy.
It does sound sketchy, like
This
just
whole
for
passive
anyone.
income thing. Like, how is this legit?
Like it just seems like you're taking the handmade element
Yeah.
out of it.
Yes.
And it feels, I don't want to say icky, but when you are here and you're like, man, I'm a creative. I want to create with my hands and
Yeah.
all of that. That was my biggest drawback. But once I started seeing your scenario and so many of our other students, I was like, wait, there has to be a way. And the way I teach it now is like you're giving yourself a true promotion.
Yeah.
And what I
real.
love for our passive earner students, for your shop, for our own shops that we have tested and we really utilize, the work that you do on these shops is all work that can compound. Here's the worst part about when you're in feast or famine doing physical products, when you are actively fulfilling the order, when you're doing the fulfillment, there's no compounding there when it comes from a business perspective.
Yeah.
You're doing the work, you've already committed to the work, and it's like, I was
And
like,
you already got
oh.
paid for it, and you're like, dang, now I'm having to sit here and just do all
Right.
the work.
Right. Like you're really questioning your life choices at that point.
Yeah.
which can be, again, it can be a great blessing.
Yes,
but
for sure.
you know, you have a full-time job.
I'm young. I'm
You're
trying to live my life.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
and you know, everyone's busy.
Exactly.
But once I started like really pulling back the curtain and like investigating digital downloads and looking at print on demand, and I was like, there's something
it's a whole
here.
world.
There's a whole
It's
movement.
wild.
It is a movement of
Yeah.
people that actually get to like promote themselves to being creative director.
Yep.
That gets everything that you work on when you have a digital shop or a print on demand shop. You are pulling a marketing lever. And just like our chairs have 4 different, you know, legs, every listing in your shop is another leg to your business, another opportunity for people to funnel into your world, to find you, to discover you. So you took your Etsy shop on like a vacation. And you want to talk about, because I think that was a big moment for you.
It was. Honestly, it was kind of scary because I was having a lot of traction and a lot of sales coming in. And I'm like, dang, I feel like I'm putting my shop at a halt. And I feel like I was losing out on a lot of money opportunity.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was scary, but it was very interesting because even after the vacay was over, like it didn't ruin my sales at all.
Yeah.
So that was nice,
That's
but
super
it
fun.
was a stressful little time.
And I remember one thing that I think we talked about like right before you decided to stop offering embroidering and putting your shop on vacation is that, you know, when you are meant to pivot and redirect and, you know, things like that with a lot of success, a lot of times it's go feel like you're quitting too soon.
Yeah.
And I remember like having that conversation with
Feels like
you.
you're giving up on yourself in a sense.
Yeah.
I'm like, why am I doing this?
It's like everything you planned is working out. What's wrong? But it's like, no, I now have experienced this and it's not what I want.
Yeah.
And I think that's so empowering
It really is.
to be able.
It's amazing to know it's okay. You don't
Yeah.
have to fully like commit to something. Like Alicia says, you're a tree. You can move. Like you're
So
not
good.
stuck
You're not that
in
tree.
one place.
Yes. I love that.
Yeah.
So you took a break. Now, Sadie also is a musician. So she casually has been working on her album. She just dropped a new single that I haven't got to hear yet.
Are you kidding? It's been out for so long, Taylor.
I know. I'm going to listen to it. We need to jam it. When Sadie came out with her first single, I was jamming it the first day it launched, but I have not. So I can't wait to listen to it. What's it called?
It's called The Rain is Coming.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
So she has a lot of interests. Sadie's a very creative girl. So you redirected all your energy working on this new album.
Yeah, I did. I actually felt like this internal conviction. I was like, I need to work on my music now. Like I felt an urgency. To like pivot in my life. And I was like, I got to do it. So it felt crazy because like I said, my shop was so successful and I was actually working with like famous people and
you really were. I mean, she would be getting like reach outs from like some of the craziest people.
Like there was a band who has toured with like 21 Pilots, Ed Sheeran, and they wanted me to make shoes for their band.
And like when they come out with
tease an
something,
album, which is insane. So it felt really scary, like putting it to a stop, but I knew it was what was right for me.
Yeah.
So.
And it really is an abundance mindset to be able to say no to opportunity because it's not serving you.
Yeah.
And I think that is the one thing that I see here is like, that is so, it's so good to be able to have such an abundant mindset that you're like, you know what, this is fantastic, but it's not right for me in this season. I think is probably one of the hardest things for a lot of people. And honestly, I think it's the number one lesson. Like we haven't even got into your success and like how it's so quick, but I think that is a lesson. Like that could be a masterclass in and of itself.
1000%.
Is the art of the pivot when the pivot is to totally just stop and to focus your energy on something that, you know, you don't know what the outcome of it is yet. Yeah. Which is so fun.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So good. So you started working on your album. You've dropped a few singles now.
Yeah, I did.
My question is, you've been part of Passive Earner development and seeing, our own tester shops come to fruition and the success of that, which they're super fun. And just for everyone watching, we have shops behind the scenes that Makers Gonna Learn owns, and those shops are just strictly testing. So we practice what we preach by doing it, like going first. We just got out of a really fun meeting about some new updates that you all are go freak out about.
It's gonna be so good.
If you're not in Passive Earners, I highly recommend applying and connecting with someone on my team, because the stuff we have coming is crazy. But
So good.
I digress. You were all in, building your album and writing your music. As we were going through this, like, when did it start happening, like, in your brain to be like, should I try a new Etsy shop?
Yeah. So I think as creatives, we are just dying to make
Express.
something. Yeah, we have to. It's what we're made for. We're made to be creative people and put our hands to work. So I think I was really just missing the creativity part of it. Even though I was doing something creative and like writing an album and everything, I'm just unstoppable. I just need to make more and more and more.
I love it.
And also like the money aspect too. It's like
Yeah.
everyone wants to make money, and passive income. You guys were dropping that name over and over and over, and I'm like, what is this passive income thing? Obviously, it was working for you guys in your shops,
Sure.
and I'm like, this could work for me, and it was so ideal for me because I was so busy.
Yeah.
And I was trying to record an album, and I'm like, I don't have time to be like physically making things. So passive income is like literally the most ideal sounding thing ever. And I had to give my try towards it.
I love it.
Yeah.
So you talk about passive income a little. What was your initial thoughts about passive income? Like because here's what I know to be true. If I can get someone to experience their first sale, that they're not
Yes.
going to have to go out to Hobby Lobby and pick up a shirt and then make it and then fulfill
Mm-hmm.
it and then ship it and they can experience passive income.
Yes.
Like, your life will be changed.
Absolutely. And it's changed my life because like you said, I'm about to get married. I just bought a
Oh,
house.
so fun.
Which
Congratulations,
I will
my
give,
friend.
Thank you. I will give passive income a lot of credit towards that because I was able to put a really good down payment on my
Yes.
house from money that was just coming
Coming
towards
in
me
from your
for
designs,
free.
your art.
Yeah.
No, your amazing art that you're putting into the world. Like, come on, let's go.
Yeah.
So, what would you tell people watching or your past self? Because I think it's one thing to hear about passive income. It's one thing to hear other people. But once you experience the sell while you're on a walk, you're sleeping, you're making dinner, and you see the money coming in from past work that you already did, it's just so rewarding.
It absolutely is.
What would you tell yourself like in May about passive income?
I think for me originally, I feel like the initial work was scary.
Yeah.
The idea of putting some time aside and really working towards it. I would 1,000% tell myself like that initial work is like gonna pay off.
Pay dividends.
Big time.
Yes.
Big time.
Yes.
So yeah, it's really not as much work as I thought it would be.
Right.
So,
So fun.
yeah.
I think for a lot of us, we think we can understand how it's possible for a lot of people, say me. So it's like, oh, okay, I get how Tanner can have passive income, but it's not available to me.
Yeah.
I think that is the number one reason why I think this series is so important, is pulling back the curtain of our real clients, our real students, like in your story, and just everyone that is like doing it. And
Yeah.
I mean, if $500 a month can change your life, if $1,000 a month can change your life, if $2,000 a month can change your life, that's what happens when you put in the hard work and let your Etsy compound and pay you
Literally
dividends
working
every day.
for you. And it doesn't
Yeah.
matter how busy you are in your personal life, it is working nonstop, even when you can't work nonstop.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
How has that been like for you? Like to experience that your time in
Dude.
like isn't equaling your money out.
Yeah, it's wild. I text my fiance every time I get an order. I'm like,
Oh,
I
that's
just
so
got
cute.
an order. And like, I'll tell him at the end of the day, I'm like, I made $120 today. I made
So
$130 today. And he's like, what in the world? I'm like, I don't know. I tell him all the time, I'm like, I feel like I hacked the system and I'm just making free money. Even though
Yeah.
I did work for it in the beginning, but like
But there's so many people.
it just keeps going.
Right.
I'm like, what? People are just buying it up.
People love it. And here's the
Yeah.
thing, like Etsy sees that how fast people are buying your stuff and your conversion rate is so good. They're, you know what Etsy's over here doing? They're like, I'm so grateful Sadie is on our platform putting her amazing art on there. Let us share it to more people.
Yeah.
Let us show it more. Like that's the beauty of, for anyone out there that has an Etsy shop that is struggling, that isn't seeing the fruit or seeing the transformation yet of this, like please keep posting. Keep
Yes. Don't stop.
posting. The Etsy algorithm doesn't hate you. No one out there shadow bans you. It's that you haven't found your category of like where you go shine. And the true compounding is on the other side
Yep.
of finding that. And that's why no one here is going to be able to outwork passive income for them with their Etsy shop,
Yep.
which is so fun. So
Yeah, it's amazing.
let's talk a little bit about like what you're doing, like
Yeah.
what your pivot was. So you pivoted from hand making embroidery
Yeah.
to
To digital downloads. I started making
Woohoo!
wall art.
so fun. Okay,
Yeah.
can we just have a let's just say I had no idea how big the wall art industry was.
I didn't either, because personally, I don't think I would ever buy digital wall art. 'Cause I'm
No.
like, I don't want to go and print that. But there's
No.
a whole world of people who want to buy digital
Yes.
art and
Yes.
they don't care to go and send it off
Yeah.
to a printer.
Yeah.
That's not me, but there's customers like that.
Yes, and I
Which
think
is
this is
crazy.
another like mini masterclass is like you're not your ideal customer. So if you're sitting here and you're like, oh, I would never pay $45 for a t-shirt or a sweatshirt, well, guess what? Me and my clients, like, they're selling like hotcakes. So like
Yeah,
we're
it's
not buying
crazy.
$8 shirts at Wally World. Like we are paying the money. We're getting our custom boutique style
Yes.
quality done in a shop. And that happens all the time. You know, we just had a client post that they made $50 for a t-shirt. And they're like, Tanner's method actually works. I'm like, well, yeah, it does. Like
It actually does.
there's a lot of people out there selling. Like you should be one of them.
Yes.
So it's so good. So when it comes to picking the digital download, was there any reason why you picked digital?
Because it sounded like the least amount of work, if we're being honest.
I love it. No, thank you.
So yeah,
Okay.
I was like, yeah, I just wanted the least amount of work and the maximum, like the most
Yeah.
I can make from it.
So fun. Okay, so you picked digital.
Yes.
What was it like with your research? Like when you were researching all of it? Like what was your, because a lot of times, you know, talking about a niche, talking about all these things is like very overwhelming, especially when you're first getting started.
Yes.
How was it for you?
I feel like it was pretty easy because like I said, I chose wall art and I love wall art. Me and my
Yeah.
fiance, we're just very expressive people. Our house is very cute so far. We have lots of wall art. So I was
So
like,
fun.
I just feel like it's something I could really enjoy making. And
Yeah.
I love designing anyways. So I was like, that sounds like a lot of fun. It does not sound like work. It sounds like I'm going to go home and play around in Canva and
Yeah.
have some fun.
Okay, this is
So-
go like, I don't know if you want to answer this, and this is
Yeah.
kind of funny. I know.
Oh, gosh.
Have you printed any of your own wall
I
art?
have.
You have?
I have.
Really?
Yes,
Okay.
Not with a professional printer. I have used my own printer because I'm like, I know
Okay.
people are going to print it at home.
Right.
So I was like, I need to see if it's good first. And
Okay.
it looks really good. But I
Awesome.
would love to professionally print out some
Yeah.
wall art for a house.
I was just curious. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I've found that creatives like are not very much people like products of their own product. Like if you
Yeah.
come to my house, like of course you'll see some amazing like 3D flowers on our wall or like, you know, different ways we've used crafting and like the what we teach, but it's like funny
Yes.
that like you won't see it like
Yeah.
one of the most ironic things is like I only wear black t-shirts.
All the time. That's why I wore
Right.
it back today.
So it's like it's funny. It's like Tanner, you teach me how to make t-shirts and shirts and things, but
Yes.
you only wear black t-shirts. So I was curious more of
That's
like, are
funny.
you
I know
truly?
a lot of people don't. It's not that they don't like their own stuff, but
Yes.
yeah, I like my stuff.
Yeah. No, don't say you didn't like it. I was just curious.
Yeah.
Like, do you plan on using it? Like,
I
are
do.
you gonna do?
I'm really excited. I have a whole music
Do you have a-
room, and it's
Ooh.
gonna be all posters on the wall.
So fun. So when did you
excited.
decide? When was like the, when was the like flag in the sand? You're doing this thing.
It was very spontaneous.
Okay. Tell me
I
about
was
it.
literally sitting at my house and I was like, okay, I probably was recording with you guys on passive income, and I
Yeah.
came home and I was like,
Today's my day.
literally, I was like, I just got to do it. Because,
Yeah.
like, you never know what's going to happen unless you just do it. And I was like, I'm going to do it. And
So fun.
the same day, I already had my Etsy shop from my previous embroidery. I never, like, deleted or, like, anything. to that
Delete.
shop.
Yeah. Your shop was there.
Yeah, it
just
wasn't
was on, like,
deactivated. It was just on vacay mode. And I was like, I'm going to just revamp my shop. I'm not going to open another one. I'm just going to keep the one I already had. So I created a new like logo, a new banner, and literally that day I was like, I'm going to do this dang thing. So I
Heck
just
yeah.
started designing, and I started listing the same day.
Stop it.
Yeah.
So
Once I set
fun.
my mind to something, I get it done. So
I love it. I love it. So from your first day
Mhm.
of that day, how long did it take you to get a sale?
It was within the exact same week.
Stop it. Is that not incredible?
Which blew my mind.
Yeah.
I will say my first order was my little fiance. He bought
Thank
something
you,
from
Shane.
me. Thank you,
Woohoo.
Shane. Such
So
a sweetie.
good.
But I did get an order from a stranger the same week.
Is that
So
not
it was
amazing?
Shane and then a stranger. So it's
It
crazy.
just doesn't get old for me that this happens for you. And like
Yeah.
we have stories of other clients that 9 days, 8 days, 5 days, 14 days. Like
Yes.
as fast as you're willing to apply the curriculum
Mhm.
is as fast as you're going to see the result of it.
Absolutely.
Especially when
Absolutely.
you find your category, your thing that you're divinely meant for, which is
Yes.
so
And you'll know.
fun.
It's not forced. It's
Yeah.
something that like brings you to life.
Yeah.
Um,
Because we
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
teach a lot about like doing market research and doing that. I think you had told me probably off, I don't think maybe on a different training we did together that like the research really wasn't in your favor, right? Did you say that like a lot of the Christian wall art or there really wasn't?
Yeah, so it was like in my style. There was not a lot of my
Right.
style on Etsy.
And what do you call your style?
It's very maximalist,
I love
very bold. And on Etsy there's tons of beautiful work, but it's more of like the minimalist,
Yeah.
more like watercolor, like
Yeah.
farmhouse kind of vibe.
Yeah,
And I was
yeah.
like, I know there's a whole generation like me
Ooh.
who loves Jesus because I have Christian wall art
Yeah.
and is very bold and colorful. And
So
I'm like,
fun.
I'm going to fill in the gap because there is very much a gap in that style.
amazing.
And it's paying off
Yeah.
big time.
So crazy.
Big time.
So you got your first sell from a stranger and you were like,
Yes.
okay, like this is working.
Yeah.
My fiance isn't the only one buying anymore.
Yeah, right.
What was your plan of action? You did the
Yeah.
rebrand, you relaunched. What was your week like? Like what was it looking like for you to like just be working on designs?
It was funny. Literally, that's all I wanted to do when I set my mind to this business. I was like, I'm going to go
So
home.
good.
I'm going to design. And I forget how many listings I made. Within the first month, I had well over 100 listings. I was just like popping them out.
I
because
think
was
this
so
is part
excited.
of it. I think, for those of us that are here and they're working on an Etsy shop, like Sadie was committed to throwing a lot out there and seeing what happened. I think for a lot of us, we think that we could, what I call like post and ghost. Like I'm going to post 3 listings because
Just see what happens with it.
I don't think it, and what I always, when I get to coach you, those of you at home, when I get to start coaching you, it's that you don't think it's going to work. And what I find with anyone that's struggling with their Etsy shop or getting it traction is notice that Sadie never once doubted. She just said, I'm getting to 100 listings to see what happens and bringing the curiosity. Where I see people struggle and why we offer coaching and why we do this with you is because you need to show up like you're already winning to win. If
is
you're
so good.
showing up,
Yeah.
if you're showing up and you're posting 3 listings just to see what happens, you're going to prove whatever result you're thinking,
Yep.
which is usually, I don't think this is available for me. I think this is not, Etsy's oversaturated. So I'm going to post 3 listings, prove to myself that it's not working. And then I have that like evidence instead of saying, oh, I'm going to be successful. I don't care how long it takes. Let's put a lot out there and just like see which ones sell the most.
Yep.
Like that's such a different energy. And you can always tell in how a student is describing it or how someone is talking about it
Yeah.
and what their core belief about their shop is.
It's absolutely a mindset thing.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it really is. I really, just for anyone here, wanting to know about that, like, it is so important for you to know, like, your mindset around what you think about money and what you think you're worthy of is a direct indicator of what success you're going to allow yourself to have, which is so good.
And I know with my very first Etsy shop, I was actually scared of success. And I know you say
Yeah.
this a lot, like the fear of success. It is legit. Like, because
Yeah.
I was worried. I was like, it's going to become too busy for me. But you realize you're literally afraid of being successful.
Yeah.
You know? So,
And you got to give yourself a promotion to an Etsy shop that
works for me.
works for you. That is like, you could get, the
Yeah.
beautiful part is like, you could get 100 orders today
Yes.
and your day doesn't change.
It absolutely does not.
You may have like 2 people message you and be like, hey, how do I use that design? And you're like, oh, here you go.
Yeah.
Like,
I just copy and paste the exact same message to
Yeah.
anyone. So
right.
it's easy.
we can handle it.
Yeah, right.
So when did you start seeing consistent sales, and like, what do you think had to happen for that to unlock? Because you launched the shop, when was it?
I launched it. It was like the last day of September.
Crazy.
So
like
pretty much
October.
October. Yeah.
Love it.
Yes.
And when did you start seeing consistent? Like, not just a stranger buying here, a stranger buying there. If any of you have not heard our philosophy on like why we only want to sell to strangers, the second link in the description is like a 45-minute training I have. It will change your
So
life.
good.
Like,
so good.
we only want you selling to strangers, selling to
Yeah.
your mama, your cousin, your aunties.
Your fiance.
Okay, we'll take his money. But, selling to our family, I think a lot of us, when we think of small business, we always think we have to start selling to the people we know.
Mhm.
But what if that's not true?
Yeah.
What if selling to strangers is easier? Like, that is
And
what
it
we're
is
proving.
easier.
Yeah,
It's
every
so much
day.
easier.
So
Yeah.
crazy. Okay, so when you started October,
I did.
when did you start seeing like just consistent sales?
I would say probably like a month in or so.
Okay.
Yeah, once I hit around like 100 listings, I was getting multiple sales every day by strangers. No, and I will say it's mostly strangers who buy your stuff. Like you say, it's so important to sell to strangers because, I don't know, people, they love you, they support you, but not all of them are going to buy from you. So it's very rewarding to have people who don't know you at all, who very much value your work. And
do you want to know the reason why
wild.
I love selling to strangers? I actually take a lot of pressure when I'm doing something for someone I know.
There's so much
There's
pressure.
so much
Yes.
pressure when it comes to creating for someone, when it comes to any of that. It's like, it's way more like weight.
I don't know if it's because they're more open with you, because they're more comfortable with you, and you're
Well,
like,
I just don't want them to be disappointed, and like, there's a
Exactly,
lot of it. Like,
yeah.
it's so much, like when you sell to strangers, it's so much, I don't want to say cut and dry,
yeah,
but it just feels lighter, easier.
seamless. I don't know.
Yes, they're not
Yeah.
texting you. Like, recently
Yes.
we've been promoting our beach house, and all my friends and family, like, they're like, well, what's my deal? And I'm like, the price
You're
is
getting
the
a
price.
deal? Yeah.
Like, but you're
And that is
supposed to
one
get a
thing I
better
stand
price.
by. I never give discounts to people I know.
Your stuff is so
Ever.
affordable. Like, your
or
stuff
even
is so
when it was
good.
embroidery, I was
Yeah.
like, no discounts. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, you got to stand firm in
Yes.
yourself and the
So important.
value of what you're doing. So.
I agree. And I think my philosophy is you're either paying the price or I'm going to bless it to you for free.
Exactly.
Like,
Little
there's
gift.
there's no like middle ground here.
Yeah.
Like, you're either being blessed by it
Yeah.
or you're putting the
gonna
money
pay
in.
for it.
Yeah. And I think that comes down to, here at Makers Gonna Learn, I stand by, like, we sell digital programs. Like, people would say, like, Tanner, you should give away your digital programs. No. No.
Absolutely.
I've given away $1,000 before. MacBooks, iPads, Cricut machines, craft supplies. We've given away probably $50,000 worth of giveaways
Easily.
or more easily. But I will never give away my program because I
That's
believe
understandable.
that once you put money behind it, like, you're so much more invested.
Yes.
And I think that
absolutely.
is so important for for you all at home to think about like there's value in that financial energy change
Yes.
and, commitment. So
Absolutely.
yeah, Carrie says it actually hurts my feelings when friends and family ask for a discount. It's just like that, of course. Like it's fun. It's not
They
that.
feel almost entitled to it.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
exactly what I
that's-
was gonna say. So it's crazy. So you started seeing success, like consistent sales in November-ish.
Yes.
When did you look back and were like, I guess how fast did you hit your first 100 sales?
Oh gosh. I think it
Like
was
by the middle of November?
yeah, it took about a month for
Okay.
me to have like 100 sales. And I will say November to today, it's March.
Yeah.
I have like 940 something sales.
You're almost
now,
at your first 1,000
which is
sales.
insane.
Oh my gosh.
Insane. So
Congratulations.
yeah, it's very rapidly growing,
Yeah.
which is blowing my mind.
I love it.
Honestly, it's
I love
crazy.
it, love it, love it.
Yeah.
What has been the hardest part?
It's not hard, Tanner. It's not hard at all.
Well, if you had
I
to
don't
think about
know.
like, is it the design part? Is it the setup part? Is it customer service? Like to you, like what is that hard? What does hard look like, I guess?
Honestly, the hardest thing I run into is probably the customer service. But
Yeah.
it's all nice people. It's okay. And it's
Yeah.
always people who don't know how to like download the
Yes,
file, which
yes,
is
yes.
so easy. I'm like, hey, just read the instructions. It's literally that simple.
Yeah. Okay. I love that.
It's so easy. And I feel crazy saying that, but it literally
Sure.
is so easy. So
What is your thoughts now that you have had almost 1,000 sales? Like, what are your thoughts on Etsy compared to when you first started? Like, what would you
gosh.
say? Like, was there ever an inkling of you that thought it was going to be oversaturated?
in the beginning, yes, because like there's tons of wall art, tons and tons and tons, and tons of Christian wall art. But I decided to do my own thing and have my own touch and style, and people wanted it. So
So good.
yeah, I think there's
Love it.
always a fear of oversaturation. Also, people always encouraging you to not list on Etsy because apparently the fees are
Isn't
out
that
of this world, which
funny?
I'm like, they're literally not.
Right.
And Etsy, one thing I have come to like love about Etsy is they are constantly driving traffic your way. And
Yes.
I had a social media for my wall art, but like I never post on it, and that doesn't make a difference. Like Etsy is just driving and driving and driving.
They're working so hard for
They
you.
are.
They're working so hard
Thank
for
you,
you. Thank you, Etsy
Thank
algorithm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of like Instagram and social platforms, like on YouTube where we're at right now. Like we are creators on YouTube, and there are people watching you all at home. YouTube needs people to create for people who watch.
Yes.
Etsy needs sellers to list so that they can connect you to the buyers that are on the platform. So it's like when you know that like this is a true partnership between you and Etsy, and they want you to succeed.
Absolutely.
They want you to make a good listing. They want you to have good photos and like good
Yep.
tags, and because it's just a big connector, and it is super, super important. Carrie asked, have you done any Etsy ads, or has it only been organic?
So I dabbled around a little bit with Etsy ads, but honestly, I didn't feel like it made a difference, so
Yeah.
I just turned them off.
And Etsy ads, you can only use like it's only like $10 or $20 a day. Like you can't
Yeah,
really.
it's not a
It's not a
lot.
lot that you could really do. So all the success is just getting in that search,
Yeah.
getting positioned, people
Yes.
favoriting, and people
Yeah.
buying. And
Yeah.
it's so good.
Wild.
Love it, love it, love it. So how many listings do you think you have in your shop right now?
I could tell you.
Okay.
I'll
What's
just
the
pull
name
it
of your
up.
shop? Someone asked for the name of your shop.
It is called Not of This World
Not
Prince.
of This World Prince. We love
I
it.
have, let's pull this up,
So
y'all.
fun. So fun.
Yeah, I have well over 100 listings
Yeah.
now.
And one
take
thing
a
we have
look.
to get into is your bundles and your
Oh my
little
goodness.
Yeah. We'll have to talk about your bestsellers.
I have 170 listings, and most of them are bundles.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
So you were doing single listings, and what was the price on those?
So they're around like $8, but I run a sale every day, so it's about $4.
Okay. So like a
single.
50% off sale every day, which is like an advanced lever.
Yeah.
If you're
a little hacky hack.
Little hack. And think about it, like it's creating that urgency.
Yes.
Which is so important for people to be like, I don't want to miss out. I want to have off.
Gotta jump on it now.
Give it to me today.
Yeah.
Which is so good. So those were the individual listings at like $8 regular.
Yes.
When it comes to the bundles, tell me more about that.
Yeah, so I offer bundles of 9 prints, and I offer it at $30, which sounds crazy because it is crazy.
It is crazy.
But I run a sale every day, so it's about $7 to $9 usually for
That's
a
incredible.
bundle of 9. Which
So good.
obviously is such a good deal, and everyone
Such a
is going to
deal.
want to buy the bundles over the singles because they're going
Yeah.
to save so much money.
We love that.
So, yeah.
We love it. We love it, love it, love it. I think it's so crazy to me that like you've been just so willing to experiment.
It's
and
so much
willing
fun.
to like go for it. Where do you think, you do the daily sale and you have your bundles, you have your single listings. Where do you think you want to go with the shop?
Well, nobody knows this. This is like a tip top secret. So I'm sharing it with the world. I spent a pretty penny on some really good mock-ups recently.
Okay.
For t-shirts and sweatshirts and tote bags. So that means I have to do it now because I got to make my money back on my mock-ups.
And what are you going to do?
I'm going to stick to my same niche. I'm going to stick to like really trendy Christian stuff and see how it goes. And if it doesn't work out, it's okay because I made $130 today and it's only
Paid it back.
1 p.m. So
you're going to be adding print on demand.
Yes.
Are you excited?
I am. I'm a little nervous, but you guys who are already in the passive earner program are literally crushing it, and I'm inspired by our own students, which is it's so awesome. So I'm really excited to dive into it and see what it entails.
Listen, if anyone's out there, like I think the print on demand route, it is a little bit more. There's a little bit more skin in the game, like, just a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's still like you're being that creative director. You're getting to pick the products. You're getting to have someone else fulfill it. Like you're really like taking on that new role. And clearly you have all these ideal customers. I'm so excited to see what will happen.
Yes, I am too. It's another one of those experiments that I'm just really excited about.
Like it could really, take it to the next level, which is going to be so fun.
So excited.
And like maybe people that find you from the digital art will like buy more and like reorder and see like all your other stuff. Like it's clearly working for your market, which is so exciting. Now, here's something crazy while we have Sadie here. We just added a call inside of Passive Earner Society private coaching.
Oh my goodness.
That I had like such an inkling for you to be able to pull back the curtain and share just with everyone. So inside of Passive Earners, we have different coaching calls. Like I had a call last night that ended up being like a 90-minute call with our private students.
You were going above and beyond.
We love
people.
it. Yeah, we love it.
Good.
Inside Passive Earner private coaching, we also offer twice a month one-on-one support. We give community support. And then we have multiple calls. So you're hosting a work with me call, which I find to be so good to just like see like behind the scenes of like what it really looks like just designing and listing, which I'm so excited about. Tell us how it's going.
It's going so good. I had one call and the whole point of it is to really just show how I find inspiration on like what to make in the first place, because that could be intimidating. Like where do I start? What do I make? What do people want? Like what is trending? So I go over that. I find my inspiration. I literally go start to finish, like start designing the way I would if I were by myself. I'm just walking through it with you guys and showing you how I do it. All the way up to like the listing process, and I started to list one the other day with the passive earners
So
people.
fun.
So yeah,
We love it.
it's really
And I
just-
think it's really
yeah.
great. I think it's really great for twofold. Number one, if like people in the program just need like, hey, I need to work on my own shop. I know what I need to do. Having you in the background, like, oh, we're doing it
Yes.
together.
we are.
And number two, for any of you out there that is like, I think I know what this looks like, but I really want to know what this looks like. Having that call with you is going to be just so incredible because it's going to be an ongoing call. So if anyone gets in the program, like they can mark their calendar for all our different types of calls that we offer. We have a 6-figure Etsy seller, Ashley Falco, who's also in private coaching for passive earners. So we are super, super excited. So I love it. What would you say to anyone out there that is considering, not just considering an Etsy shop, but considering a passive earner like Etsy shop?
It's absolutely life-changing. Imagine how much, like, it could be $50 a day, $100 a day.
Yeah.
That could change your life so much. That could be groceries, bills, health bills, paying off debt. Literally, it makes so much of a difference, and it's personally changed my life.
Well, I honestly
wild.
did not know that $100 a day is roughly $3K a month,
Yes.
but that's $36K a year.
Yeah.
Like that is like a lot. Like that is a great.
That's a whole job.
Totally
An extra job.
It's an extra job,
Yeah.
and it's so crazy that that opportunity is there. That if you're willing to work it and you're willing to apply yourself, that it's available to you. It's not something that is just a one-off fluke. Like we're seeing this in so many different industry. We're seeing this in so many different types of shops.
Yeah.
I was just at a private influencer dinner, and every single person at that table had an Etsy shop.
Did they?
And they also do what we do.
Yeah.
Like a lot of them teach and, different things like that, but they have an Etsy shop and it's
there's
print on
something
demand.
to it, guys.
Like there's something there. So it is super, super good. So
Yeah.
yes, Tamara, for anyone that is here that is from like our previous passive earner group and you are considering upgrading, be sure to apply and go through the process. There's an upgrade option. So they'll go over that with you if you're interested, which is super fun to give you more support, more coaching, and things like that. And since Sadie is spilling secrets, I will spill a secret too.
Stop. No, you're not.
Well, I'm gonna spill a little secret.
Okay.
I have no this is a little surprise for
Oh my
something
gosh.
coming in April.
Okay.
But I am so excited to announce that we'll be having a 1-day Etsy conference.
Let's go!
Woo! So
Oh my
good.
gosh.
So good. I am super, super excited. So it will be happening at the end of April.
Yes.
So stay tuned. Get ready.
So good.
We are so excited. It'll kind of teach you like we're having Ashley Falco teach. You're going to be teaching a class. I'll be teaching the state of Etsy and like what to look for and like where it's at and what the opportunity is. It's going to be so good for Etsy sellers that are out there, that are aspiring, that are in it and want to really see it, come to fruition. So yay, I'm so excited. Okay, what else, if you had to tell your past self something about Etsy, what do you think you would tell her?
It's absolutely not too good to be true. Because
Isn't it
that's
crazy?
literally what I thought. I was like, you hear people on Instagram all the time. They're like, you can make $12,000 in a month, but they never tell you how. But
Right.
we're going to tell you how to make passive money.
Yeah, it's so good. So
Yeah.
we are super excited. We love what we're getting to do inside of Passive Earners. This has been some of the most fun, like inside one of our programs I think I've ever had.
It's my favorite.
It
out
is
of everything.
so
Yeah.
much to coach the people inside, to help people get to their first sell. When you get the cha-ching and your mom even
never
posted.
gets old.
Yeah, it never gets old. It is so fun. She was talking about that she can hear it multiple times, like doing regular activities. It is kind of crazy.
Sometimes I have to mute it if we're being honest. I'm like, I need to stop hearing this.
So funny.
It's so funny.
I love it. And I just love that it's available. You're not having to some of my favorite parts is like you're not having to TikTok dance.
No,
You're not having
I don't have to
to-
put myself out there.
You're not having to show your
Yeah.
face. Like these brands are faceless.
They really are.
You get to
Yeah.
be that creative director.
Yeah.
And like that's what I'm most excited about because for me, I'll be very relevant and like just very honest. I am not a designer of you or anyone else on our staff's level.
And that's okay.
And that's okay.
Everyone has their own
But one
strengths.
thing I can do is teach like nobody's business.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what I leverage. So it's weird, I think, for a lot of people that experience my content and the things that we, hear around here is like, wait, the only way to make good money is to do what Tanner does and have to make videos and like figure out how to edit and figure out how to do all of that. But this is actually the opposite.
Yeah.
Like this is the opposite. If you want a faceless brand that you just show up, that you do great work, that you do great designs, and you can see passive income compounding, like that's available, which is so fun because like, to get in the stock market and get paid dividends, you have to buy the stock. You have to have the money. You have to do, you got to make the money to have the money to buy the stock.
Yeah.
And then you can get paid some dividends. But here, your designs is what is getting your like foot in the door to get paid dividends in a whole new way. So anyway,
Yeah.
I think it's some of the best
amazing.
work we've ever done. We love it. We love it, love it,
1000%.
love it. It is so much fun. But thank you so much for being on, like so open and honest and just
anytime.
sharing with our community and getting to stay up to date. I'm excited to see
Yes.
where your Etsy shop goes
Me
and
too. I'm
where your
very
album goes.
intrigued.
I just have this vision that your album and your print on demand and your digital, like it is all just gonna come
Yes.
together and like this epic, unbelievable
Let it be.
brand. And you'll be
That'd be
having
amazing.
concerts and we'll all be
That'd be
wearing your
awesome.
merch and like
Period.
selling
I
it
love
all.
it.
Like it's gonna be so good. So good. You won't even have a shop. You'll only we'll have
Yeah.
like a kiosk and
Just
I'll
buy it
run
off my Etsy.
I'll literally have it at, like a little kiosk and be like, well, which design do you want? We'll ship it.
Exactly.
Like that
yeah.
could be crazy.
Dude, that would be so fun.
So fun. So good.
Amazing.
It's gonna be awesome. I'm
That'd
so
be so
proud of
much
you.
fun.
We love it. We love getting to work with you. So, oh my gosh, my friends, if you are here and you're like, I am ready to take the next step, I just want to invite you to apply and see what it looks like to work with me, my entire team, get to work with Sadie, your very own one-on-one coach, get inside our community and be a part of this passive earner movement, which is happening. And here's the deal. A lot of people think that the passive earner movement is like the boat's like out in the middle of the ocean. But here's the thing. We're helping people every week start a shop and they're selling to strangers. Why not you? And I really want you to ask yourself that. And what will happen is all week this week, I want you to ask yourself, why not me? You can figure out the designs. Your designs are probably good enough to get out there and to start seeing traction, right? We're showing you that like everyday people are doing it. Why not yourself? The boat is not gone. You can get on it if you want. And if you want to do it with us, with a community of like-minded people doing it together, I highly recommend you get plugged in with Passive Earners. If you're already in Passive Earners, feel free to upgrade to private coaching. There's a special offer that will be disappearing at the end of April. So be sure to apply and we'll go over that with you. And again, we're just so excited for Sadie and just everyone's success inside of Passive Earners. And until Wednesday, we'll see you back here real soon on the Makers Gallery channel. Bye, guys.
Bye.